There's one of the plastic thrust plates removed. Now, yeah, you can wipe them down if you want to, clean them up a bit. I always put a dab of oil on them before I put them back, or a grease oil, just to cut back on the friction from the shaft of the armature to where it bumps. And of course, this pads that bumping just a little bit too. So make sure these and the oil wicks are removed. I'm ready now to start the cleaning process. That again will be washing with a common dishwasher green or blue dishwashing soap. You really want a good degreasing soap. You can use Q-tips, you could use pipe cleaners. I usually just use toothbrushes to clean these really thoroughly and let them soak in warm, bubbly water to start that grease breakdown process that I don't want to have to remove using my more expensive AutoZone brake cleaner. I am not going to examine the pull more tires that are on these two wheels, this one and this one, until I've thoroughly washed and cleaned this whole unit, because I want to see after all that cleaning what their condition is from several standpoints. Are they hard? Are they tacky? And do they have any kind of breaks, fractures, splits, drive cracking, or whatever in them? And I think that that will be easiest seen after they're cleaned under close examination with a flashlight and maybe a magnifying glass. As I pointed out earlier, you can see one fracture in this wheel right here. You can see it reflecting the light of the brass up underneath it. So this is probably going to be a nominee to replace the pull more, but I'm going to check with the owner before I do that. I completed one washing using a common blue-green degreasing dishwasher soap. And you can see how it improved the appearance. A couple other things that I did. I went ahead and used some canned air to blow out the moisture in all of these screw base openings and other places. Just don't want to carry that forward. I'll be doing that multiple times. And I went ahead and checked the gauge on these wheels using Mr. Barker's dime test. One of them I thought needed to be closed up a little bit. So I simply placed the axle tip on a solid object like this marble block, took this link coupler tool, placed it over the opening and tapped it gently, and just moved that wheel with the plastic insulator just a little bit more tight on the axle, being careful not to reposition the gear. So I've got both of these in the same position. Dime passes through, but it's not pinched. And it seems to be rather snug, but it still passes through. Next up is to blast this with AutoZone brake cleaner. I'm not going to submerge it in any acetone, which of course would be the ultimate grease remover, but I want to minimize how much I'm hitting that acetone on these pull more tires. So I'll probably wrap them in a little bit of plastic and then close that up with just some tape, it won't prevent the total getting the AutoZone brake cleaner on there, but it'll just protect them a little bit, just one step more, to keep from drying that rubber out anymore. So let's blast it with a little AutoZone brake cleaner, and then let's take another look at it after it's washed. The armature and the chassis with wheels and axles are about ready to be at the assembly point. I've got other things I need to do, other small details, such as the bearing straps need to be cleaned and things like that, but I think these two components are ready. And what I did on the chassis is I blasted it with AutoZone brake cleaner, which is kind of like acetone in a can, but it comes with a directional nozzle, so it's very easy to apply and you don't have to apply the full force. Then I rewashed it again with a common blue or green, will do, degreasing dishwasher soap with a toothbrush, and then did a final alcohol wipe after I had polished all these two contact wheels. Now, there's not a whole lot I could do on the contact wheels which have the pull more tires, because I don't want to damage the pull mores from the rotary tool. The armature, I think, is ready. cleaned the commutator. I cleaned all the gears, the worm gears. I cleaned around the bearings. So I think it is ready. Now there's one thing I didn't mention that Mr. Barker thinks is extremely important, and I do too, and I didn't fail to do it here, but I failed to mention it. So kind of have to have a little fun. Let's take an exam. First of all, I'll give you a hint of what I forgot to mention has to do with the armature. That's not enough? Okay. It has to do with the commutator. So on my mark, I'm going to put 5 seconds of dead time on the video to give you an opportunity to pause the video and go look it up if you want to in Mr. Barker's book, or if not, just wait and I'll give the answer. So 5 seconds on my mark. Okay, we're back. And the answer is that I failed to mention that we need to clean out the slots of the commutator, and that I did. I have cleaned these slots before with either a sharpened toothpick or a pen, pulling it this way, and pushed out a little stream of built-up carbon. That built-up carbon has the potential of shorting out across those sections of the commutator. But that was done, so that's all been cleaned. And took a rotary tool to this as well. Now I will be applying some oil upon reassembly, and I'll talk about that later. But I think this portion of it is done. Now again, I'll be doing the small components, and then we'll restart this video once I get all those small parts done and ready to reassemble. I think you'll agree that's a nice looking component. I think the owner is going to be pleased with the work and the results, and I think it will serve the owner well.